You are now watching Zac Lesage PTCG. Let's get it! Yo, what's poppin' YouTube? Welcome back. Today we are going to be covering over LucMetal. LucMetal, as my homeboy Josh Sutherland or the legendary Jake Gearhart have said, is one of the best decks, if not the best deck in format for a while. Personally, I've been like, nah, I don't really like LucMetal. I think it has a lot of poor matchups in the format, but that has changed a little bit in battle styles here. So there are a bunch of VMAX Pokemon that are very viable now, and battle styles really boosted up the VMAX viability, released Rapid Strike Urshifu, Single Strike Urshifu, it added in Victini VMAX. Like, it's one of these things where there's so many VMAX, Lapras is making a comeback, Dragapult's making a comeback, that LucMetal is a solid choice nowadays. So if you want to check out the list is in the description. You can copy and paste that right into PTCGO if you want to play along while you're watching this video. If you're missing any of the cards for this deck, LucMetal is the latter reward. So I will let you know that you can get the LucMetal free by playing PTCGO and that Clout Malolana. But if you're missing anything else or want to get the deck built a little bit quicker, you can go to PTCGOstore.com, plug in code ZLesage5 to save 5% on your next order. That being said, if you haven't already subbed, hit that sub button, give this video a like, and let's jump into this deck list. And away we go. So here we have it. This is the LucMetal list that we are going to be playing for this video. This is the deck that Gabe Smart handed me. I was like, Gabe, what's the best way to play LucMetal right now? He tossed me this list. He's playing in a tournament. He made top 8 of that tournament, losing to Joshua Sutherland, who was also playing LucMetal. And LucMetal just won Hegsters the other day. So this is absolutely a crazy solid call right now, with all the VMAXs being in the format right now. That's basically what it is. VMAXs go stonks, and LucMetal goes stonks. When Fire decks go stonks, LucMetal goes down. So I mean, trending up, this deck's gonna be hot, and I do want to cover it on my channel. I am currently in the process of covering every single deck on my channel that is viable to the competitive community, along with a handful of budget decks tossed in here or there, because I know not every single person likes the most competitive decks. So starting off, this deck is basically a Zacian and Zamazenta deck. Zacian with the Intrepid Sword allows you to draw cards. It's going to be one of the main draw sources of your deck. And when you have nothing to do, use Intrepid Sword. Brave Blade is going to be consistently the best metal type attack that we have in the game, because you can knock out a lot of things with Brave Blade doing 230 damage. You can power that up very quickly with Metal Energy and with Metal Saucer, that you can get those metal energies back from your discard pile. So that part makes a lot of sense. Just a really strong metal attacker. You pair it with 2 copies of Zamazenta, so you got Zamazenta with Dauntless Shield, prevent all damage done to your Pokemon by attacks from your opponent's Pokemon VMAX. So that's why this deck's going to be very good. You could block Eternatus VMAX, Inteleon VMAX, Lapras VMAX, you can even block Centiskorch VMAX. The list goes on and on and on. All the Urshifus, all those new cards are blocked by Dauntless Shield. That being said, this Pokemon, once you get in the active position, it kind of feels like it's a Decidueye deck where you just sit there and you're like, cool, I'm a vibe out. I'm a use Assault Tackle, Assault Tackle, Assault Tackle. You don't need to do a whole bunch of damage when your opponent's doing nothing per turn. Isolate your opponent's threats that can get through Dauntless Shields, whether it's with Assault Tackle or it's with Brave Blade. Now, if your opponent starts getting out of hands, you could use Full Metal Wall. Maybe you need, for particular numbers, to use Full Metal Wall for 1 energy to reduce damage done to your metal Pokemon for the rest of the game, or you remove all their energies in play. Decks that you want to remove all their energies in play would be something like Pikarom, for example. Maybe they're going for that huge Tagbolt GX. Full Metal Wall seems like a great way to kind of just get past that. So what else really works in this deck? How else does this deck tick? Well, we're basing it off of like a tag call engine. Tag call searching out for any 2 tag team cards. Tag calls encompass the tag team LucMetal. And there's also the tag team Cynthia Caitlin, so we can search it to draw some cards if we need to, and then get supporter back and draw 3 cards. Solid. We can use Guzma Hallow, we could search for a stadium, or we could search for a stadium, we could search for a Pokemon tool, and a special energy card, depending on what we need. And we can also search Malolana, which is a way to switch and heal, which can be great, especially if they start doing some damage to your Zamazenta, or if you need to prevent a knockout on a Zacian V. Beyond the tag call engine, the deck also has a lot of other things going for it. You have Lily's Pokédoll if you want to offer up your opponent and kind of like a fake Pokemon, something that's not worth a prize card. If you just need to bide by a turn, Lily's Pokédoll would certainly be a great one to send up active. Quick Ball's going to search out your stuff the same way Capture Energy is. It's all basic Pokemon, so you could search out anything you want with this deck. Capture Energy could be grabbed with Guzmahela if you need a basic Pokemon, for example. So it just shows kind of the layers of plays that we have available in this deck. Got a copy of Reset Stamp. Sometimes you just want to push your opponent's hands into the void, see exactly what's good. This deck works really well, especially if you got a Zamazenta. They have a bunch of outs, and you're like, cool, all those outs are shuffled back into your deck. Good luck trying to find those in a couple turns. 4 copies of Switch, because we do have Brave Blade's effect where this Pokemon can attack during your next turn. Maybe you want to swap into a Zamazenta to block a VMAX hit, however you want to deal with. Power Plant is going to stop GX and EX abilities. Since we are playing Standard, that is only GX Pokemon, but maybe there's a GX Pokemon like Dedenne GX that will allow them to draw into that Pokemon that gets through Dauntless Shield, or maybe they're going to be stopping a Mewtwo Mew GX that can attack through Dauntless Shield as well. Boss orders to bring up whichever Pokemon you want. Try to isolate threats if you can go for the Dauntless Shield strategy, or choose prize cards that you want to draw, or use Full Metal Wall against a Pokemon that has a bunch of energies. Moving on, we got Marnie and Research. Pretty typical. Marnie works here more as a disruption card, so if your opponent has a large hand, lots of options, you want to take away options and continuously stick it to them, either with Dauntless Shield or isolating their attackers. And I mean, Research is just good to draw into cards. Sometimes this deck is sinking, so Research allows you to float a little bit. Cape of Toughness really is here to try to bide a hit off of some popular Pokemon. So if you have 270 HP, your opponent can't necessarily attack you with Brave Blade against their ADP. They'll need to have a Rusted Sword. Or let's say you could get some extra HP on a Zamazenta V. Cape of Toughness does work in some scenarios. We also have Metal Goggles. So just reducing damage to stay alive a little bit longer. The more time you stay alive, the more opportunities you have to attack, the better chance you have to win the game. You can also stop your opponent's abilities and attacks, replacing damage counters. With Dragapult coming back large, this is going to be super helpful. We also got 4 copies of Coding Metal Energy to get through that fire type matchup if we do run into one. I'm going to try to not play against fire in this video, talking to some of the home slices in Discord, seeing what they have available. I was like, please just don't play something that has a terrible matchup. I don't want to hit like a Blacephalon or a Centiskorch or a Victini VMAX. Those are all going to be difficult matchups. And I mean, I just want to really show exactly how strong this particular deck can be. So we'll see exactly what they decide to throw at me. But I mean, I think this list is very good right now. I haven't been a big fan of LucMetal before, but I'm starting to really like this deck in this particular metagame. So let's jump into some gameplay, see what's up. Okay, so we're going to be playing a game out of Discord. Thanks to everyone who's been playing the games with me over Discord. It makes it a lot easier than playing on the ladder to film these videos. So I might be butchering this name. Tamerlands. Let me know exactly in the comments below if I butchered. I'm sorry. But yeah, he said he'd chew me over a challenge, so I appreciate it. Let's see what deck he's bringing here. Started with Zacian. Zacian seems fine. To start with, honestly, better than like a LucMetal in most cases. Okay, so he's playing Dragapult, Persian with Esper. So the Esper is going to place damage counters on my Pokemon, and then you can do 20 damage to one of your opponent's bench Pokemon. So nothing that I really need to worry with. This is going to stop Catterday Pokemon from having an attack cost, and of course Esper is going to use Ear Kinesis. So maybe I need to watch out for the damage counters that I could have on my certain Pokemon. We'll have to see. So the goal here is probably to get out a LucMetal whenever possible and just kind of deal with that. Or not a LucMetal, I should say, a Zamazenta. Zamazenta is the card that I'm trying to say here. So I'm going to go Quick Ball, discarding a Metal Energy, because I think it's worthwhile to get that going on. We only have the one Zam here. Let's see what we have left hidden away. Nothing like crazy. Doesn't look like he has like a great hand, but I'm unsure. So I think I'm gonna go for the Professor's. I think I'm gonna go for the Marnie here. Marnie seems like the safe play if I've ever seen one. So let's Marnie this away. We ended up getting a Metal Saucer, so I think that part sounds really cool. Let's go Metal Saucer. Let's go Tag Call. For Tag Call, I see no problem grabbing a Malolana and a Cynthia Caitlin. I don't really see us using LucMetal right now. And let's go ahead and hit that Intrepid Sword. So next turn, we should start just discarding their energies. and start attacking into that Dragapult. Horror Psychic Energy is going to suck a little bit, but it is what it is. You got Metal Goggles. Metal Goggles is going to stop the damage counters being put on that Pokemon. So if they are able to get off a Dragapult VMAX attack on the bench, because they can put damage counters, it does go through Dauntless Shield. Metal Goggles is really going to help us out there. It's going to be awesome. About to see exactly how that goes. Oh no, the Marnie! Goodbye, Metal Goggles! Hopefully we'll be able to draw into another one. We're really looking for an energy, a switch. So we got an energy, we got a switch. Honestly, not a big deal at all. And the Gen Assault's not doing a lot of damage, so I'm totally cool with that. Quick Ball's not really gonna, I don't care too much about that. So let's go capture energy here. Is there another Pokemon I want to put out? No. Let's go switch. I could put out a Power Plant. I think I'm fine with it. Maybe they'll drop it to Metal-GX. And let's go Assault Tackle. So we are going to take some damage, but I am going to take away that Horror Psychic Energy. To me, it seems totally worthwhile here. And we're just vibing out, trying to stop a VMAX deck from attacking with our VMAX shield. If we're not playing against a VMAX deck, we want to attack with Zacian. If our opponent has a lot of energies, or if it's advantageous for our numbers, we want to use full Melmetal-GX. So the fact that they're using the Marnie on us, really helpful for us because our hand is quite dead. But that's what happens when you struggle in a matchup. You just kind of start looking for anything that works. So this is when sacrifices start happening. And we have that boss orders. We're going to boss orders up the Dragapult right away. Let's build up an energy here. It's always better to attach one of these energies first, because if our opponent plays Crushing Hammer, we can get it back with Metal Saucer. Let's go boss's orders, bring that up, and we're going to destroy that. So isolating a threat that could do damage. They do have Shred on the VMAX that can go through, and right now we don't have Metal Goggles, so they can place damage counters. I'm happy with the Malolana in case we ever need to heal. The Lily's Pokédoll also seems quite nice. So we'll have to see exactly what could happen, but I think we've probably stopped our opponent's major game plan here. We'll have to see what's up. What can they bring up next? Maybe they have some other tricks. The Esper Persian version is interesting, for sure. So this has Gathering of the Cats. They stopped our Power Plants. Let's see what's going on. So this is going to stop all their Pokemon that have the Counter Day. They can attack for free. So let's, I think we're just kind of vibing out here. Maybe we could try to bring that one up again. They are sacrificing a prize card for us. The Eternatus did some decent damage, but not enough for a knockout there. I'm not going to retreat or anything to get the Malolana effect off. I don't even know what's worthwhile here. So I think I'm going to go like this. I think I'm fine. I don't know if I need Malolanas here to see success. And if I get a Metal Goggles, I can just stop it. So I think I'm going to attach an energy here. And then I'm just going to go research. A boss would have been nice just to start hitting that Dragapult. But if we get a Metal Goggles, that'd be super cool. Apparently not. We're going to go ahead here and Assault Tackle. So yeah, if we lose a Zacian V, that's fine. It's one of the only things that they could do. As long as they're not focusing on my Zamazenta, I'm totally cool with that. And we're still trying to get our other Zam out of our prize cards. And especially with this being the latter award, the LucMetal and the Malolana, it's going to be a great time to be playing Pokemon, especially if you want to pick this deck up for the cheap. For those of you who free to play, it's probably going to be some really good news. So, play the ladder, grind the ladder. It's going to be particularly helpful. Yeah, and I think that they're probably just going to snipe our Zacian for 40 damage, maybe putting a damage counter on the Lily's Pokédoll. But our goal is just going to be continuously focusing on the Dragapult now. As long as we don't have bench Pokemon, they can't hit us with Esper. So Max Phantom completely getting blocked with Zamazenta's Dauntless Shields. I think they're going to take the prize card. It just makes sense at this point. Okay, I would have put the 4 and then 1, and maybe they did some wrong math there. That's cool. Probably doesn't matter because of Lily's Pokédoll anyways. So they have a big hand. Let's go ahead, go Cape of Toughness on here, giving us some extra HP. I don't think they play Crushing Hammer in this build, or at least I don't think so. Maybe they play Fan of Waves. Not a big deal. I'm just gonna go Marnie. I was thinking about using Tag Call to try to get some cards out of my deck, but I'd still probably want to draw into like a Cynthia Caitlin or something like that, if that's a possibility. I don't know if there's a reason for me to put down a Zacian V and start building that up. I mean, I guess I'd be a Metal Saucer away from winning the game. So at this point, I'm probably okay with it. Because I am going to go for the attack 1, removing their Horror Psychic Energy. And if I just top deck a Metal Saucer and they attack, I could win the game next turn. So it does apply pressure. And in case they drop something that has a decent bit of HP, this does allow me to kind of reach over a threshold, but live within the prize cards that you can give up. If my opponent had 2 prize cards left, no way am I ever putting down a Zacian V. So you gotta, it's a fine line usually. And if I had a second Zam, I'd feel pretty good. Because as you can see, we got the Metal Saucer. We still have Metal Energy in our discard pile. So I'm just gonna send up the Lily's Pokédoll. They could play some damage counters on the Zamazenta, 5 damage counters that is. And I think we're going to be able to take the game here. So really strong call on the Zacian V to absolutely just kind of jump ahead here. I think they're just waiting on where they want to place the damage counters. Probably reading through the Dauntless Shield ability. I don't know where the 1 damage counter really matters. But since we do need to send this up to get Metal Saucer out into play, just want to double check 330 plus 230 equals into 360. So let's go Metal Saucer. Energy, well played. We're going to go retreats. We're going to discard the things that matter the most. So Metal Energy is in the discard pile. And we're going to go for Brave Blade, not Intrepid Sword. And that's going to allow us to advance on here. So solid game from our opponent. Thank you so much for playing the game. Really appreciate it. And there's that Zam, a little bit late, and a Metal Goggles. Dang, we would have been able to use that Metal Goggles. Awesome game. So we're playing a rematch against the Raid 255. Again, shout out, thank you so much for playing these games against me. We won the coin flip. We want to go first with this deck in general. So I think it's great to get off a turn 1 Intrepid Sword, drawing into some cool stuff. Now, if you ever have the choice between starting a Zam or a LucMetal, the reason why we play this deck is mainly Zamazenta mixed with the power of Zacian. So we're going to start off with Zam in case we play against a VMAX deck. And with our opponent's Rapid Strike sleeves, maybe they're playing Rapid Strike Ursh. Oh, they're playing Eternatus. Okay. So we don't really have much going on in our hands, but we are going to attach a Metal Energy here, and we're going to have to go ahead here and pass. Nothing that we can do about this particular hands. Like I said, it would have been really nice to get out a Zacian, but the fact that we're playing in Eternatus VMAX deck, and we have Zamazenta V in active spots, it's going pretty okay if you have to ask me. So starting off with some solid damage on the Galarian Zigzagoon, we gotta watch out for special energies because Yveltal does have Derail, and same way that something like Decidueye would try to come up with a game plan, we would try to isolate Pokemon like Yveltal, Hoopa, Spiritomb, Crobat V, things that we could actually worry about. So we're gonna go Coating Metal Energy here. No reason to not play it down, even though it can get derailed right off. And we're just gonna pass. So, as much as it seems scary to pass with a single Pokemon in play, when your opponent doesn't really have many outs, if any outs, against you should be okay. Looks like he might have got a slow start, bit of a rough hands. So here, we're going to start bringing up Pokemon that we can knock out. So let's knock out the Yveltal. That is one of the few Pokemon that can attack through Dauntless Shields. We are going to go Assault Tackle. And Etern's opportunities are really just trying to get off some quick power accelerators to Crobats, other Pokemon that can attack, things like Sableye V. And we'll see exactly, the fact that we brought up the Yveltal almost forces him to bring up the Power Accelerator Eternatus V. So, it's looking pretty okay for us. Maybe he has a Marnie in his hand and he's like, I'm just going to hold on to it. Let's see what Power Accelerator brings here. So there's some damage counters. There's the pass. Okay. So at this point, I'm fine with putting Metal Goggles down. I don't see a reason to go Reset Stamp. I don't see a reason to go Boss's Orders. I'm just going to go Professor's Research, rip this hand to shreds, and I'm going to try to get out another Zamazenta if possible. Now, one thing that I do want to note, Power Plant is probably not going to do too much against my opponent, but they might play Power Plant of their own. So I'm going to put Power Plant in play. It's not going to affect us. This is a V Pokemon. This only affects GX and EX. I'm going to go ahead and Metal Saucer. So when I'm playing against this matchup, I don't think you need LucMetal. I often don't think you need Zacian. Sure, you could apply some pressure if they have a Crobat or something, but you can see that Zamazenta is probably more than enough. Zamazenta and Malolana are going to be your friends in this matchup. As a player who's kind of brought Etern to a whole other level with my time playing it, I know for sure how to play against this matchup. I know how to play against it both sides, and yeah. So we'll see exactly what they had. Yeah, it looks like they finally just top-decked the Research, which is going to be a good one for them. But will they find the energy to start building up an Etern V or something else? This is just looking bad for our opponent. We are going to get a Metal Goggles up here, and since they do have a large hand, let's go ahead and play that Marnie. Nothing else really going on here. I'm going to go ahead and drop that Lily's Pokédoll. I don't really need much at this point. I'm just going to go attack, 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 attack. It's a boring strategy, but it is effective against VMAX Pokemon. It's just looking really good right now for us. If our opponent does not play any techs against our deck, we are completely fine. And at this point, I think we're ahead enough where we could kind of start isolating other things. We'll have to see exactly how it goes for them. There's the Professor's Research. And I mean, you might be like, yo, Zach, you just played against a Dragapult deck. You just played against you're playing against an Etern deck. What about some of the deck's poor matchups? Well, you want to know what? The Coating Metal Energy can sometimes get you by when you're playing against a Fire type matchup. So that's really one thing that I'd like to say. I'm going to build up another energy on this one just in case. Just in case our opponent plays Crushing Hammers. I'm going to go ahead and grab a couple Malolanas. Guess the only LucMetal we had was pitched away. Let's go ahead and put a supporter card from our discard pile into our hand. I'd like to get back a Boss's Orders if that's a possibility. And we're going to go for the attack here. So, like I was saying, Fire decks are sometimes beatable because we do have the Coating Metal Energy. A lot of the Fire decks are playing VMAX Pokemon, so your opponent might not necessarily understand that dynamic. Rapid Strike Urshifu is also a VMAX. Pikarom is somewhat of a favorable matchup because you could really use LucMetal to punish them with Full Metal Wall GX, especially if they pitch some of their energies themselves. So it's really a difficult choice here. Yeah, I don't think that's going to do too much for us. I'm going to build up an energy here on this one. I am going to go Lily's Pokédoll at the bottom of the deck. And I am going to send myself up with the Boss's Orders, just so we can get the attack off into this Pokemon. Let's start going with Assault Tackle. So building a quick game here, but that's completely fine. So if they find the Etern VMAX, they can attack. I think our opponent's just really stuck here. And I mean, I appreciate you playing Etern VMAX against me. Totally appreciate it. It's one of those matches that really shows how strong Zamazenta can be. So we're going to toss out that well played. And let's attack right in with Assault Tackle. So, 2 quick games, but this is what LucMetal is. I've got a lot of LucMetal content on my channel, so if you want to know a little bit more about other matchups, feel free to check that out. And there we have it, peeps. That's really how LucMetal works. Just being able to block Dragapult VMAX, Eternatus VMAX. If your opponent's deck features VMAX Pokemon, there's a good chance that's the focal point of their deck, and you're probably just going to be able to bop them with LucMetal. I mean, Josh and Jake and a handful of other players have been doing this for months on us, and we're just seeming to learn that now. So it's one of those things where, as long as VMAX Pokemon are viable, this deck will be viable. The more VMAX Pokemon that are viable, the better this deck becomes. So with Vivid Voltage leaving our format and basically battle styles being the hottest sets, we went from a format with not many VMAX Pokemon, not very many favorable matchups for LucMetal, and now we're kind of in a position where LucMetal is a very good deck because there's a lot more VMAX Pokemon that people are experimenting with. Let me know what you think about this deck or the gameplay in this video in the comments below. I'd love to hear some of your feedback, and I do want to give a quick thank you to everyone. We recently just hit over 2,500 subs, so I truly appreciate all the effort that everyone's been putting in to boost this channel up. Like I said, next stop is the moon, and we're trying to get there. Maybe we'll land at 3,000 subs in a couple weeks. We'll have to see exactly how it is. But thank you so much for all the growth. It truly means a lot and makes me want to just like dive into content every single day. Thank you so much, everyone. Have yourself a great one. Peace out. I want to give a huge shout out to our channel members for the Zacian PTCG community. Not only do these members watch all of my content and support me as a content creator, they've went the next step and started to financially support me, which is absolutely crazy to me. So shout out to Ali Plays Pokemon, Xenon TCG, Smart TCG, Slavin Tizik, Joshua Sutherland, Justin C, The Home Junkie, Samuel Stapowski, Yoshi3483, Anonymous, Jake R, It's Lido26, Jake Mall, Tilted AF, and Patrick Colding for really helping me out. I totally appreciate that everyone here is digging the content more than I ever expected. And I mean, if you've ever thought of becoming a YouTube channel member, it does cost money. So if you can't afford it, that's completely fine. It's one of those things where you can get access to my deck list in Discord that I upload as often as I create them. You get access to early videos sometimes. You get access to coaching. There's a lot of really cool things that I offer my channel members, and I really appreciate everyone who's put in extra effort. Thank you so much for watching and supporting the channel. If you haven't already, it'd mean the world to me if you could subscribe to help support me as a content creator. Thanks again, and have yourself a great one.